Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Pancreatic Cancer podcast. I'm your host, Miranda Weinberg with the Seena Foundation. And if you don't know about the Seena Foundation, we're a nonprofit that's committed to the awareness, prevention, and cure of pancreatic cancer. I'm so excited because we have one of our longtime advocates and warriors here today, Stan Vitikas. Stan, welcome.
Hi there, Miranda. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And before we get into your story and your journey, I just want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we're able to do. So thank you. Now, Stan, you have had such an incredible journey with battling pancreatic cancer. Let's start from the beginning, your diagnosis.
Thank you, Miranda. And first of all, I just want to thank you and Roger and everyone else associated with the foundation. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this organization and to have an opportunity to be a part of a podcast like this, to spread hope and to share our stories to other survivors that are battling this disease. I really got lucky. I was lucky enough to find my cancer early through an annual physical, which led to some blood work, which led to some elevated enzymes, which eventually led to a CT scan, which identified a dilated duct. Then I went back and forth through a few procedures and eventually had a Whipple surgery in May of 2008 that discovered a 2-centimeter tumor in my pancreas. And that was the beginning of my journey. Went through chemo and radiation. And so it was a tough journey. I eventually had another Whipple surgery about 5 years later due to some scar tissue. A few bouts of pancreatitis that landed me in the hospital, but in the end, I'm fine. And 13 years later, I'm a very happy and lucky and successful survivor.
And when you say caught it early, what stage did they diagnose you?
Yeah, it was judged to be stage 1B. And here's an important thing to share with everyone. And Rick Schiffauer talked about this in his podcast. Please, to all of you out there battling this disease or someone who knows someone, don't get caught up in the statistics. Even in my case, I was told by various doctors that I had still only about a 30% chance of survival, even though it was stage 1B, even though my lymph nodes were negative, even though I had had a successful Whipple surgery. And I remember thinking, wow, I still have a 2/3 chance of dying. And even when I went to have my port installed and when I met with my oncologist, both of them that said, oh, it's going to come back and, no one ever makes it more than 2 to 3 years. And I thought to myself, wow, I felt very depressed. I hadn't met any survivors at that time. I really wish I knew about the foundation then. But then my surgeon said to me, he said, don't believe any of that stuff. He says, you're going to live to be 80 and you're going to die of something else. I scraped that pancreas off. I cleaned off those blood vessels. I took another slice. You're going to live to be 80 and die of something else. And that's what I've stayed with. And that meant the world to me, that basis for hope and optimism. And we should all have that.
What was it like, after hearing so many pessimistic opinions, to hear that positive statement? From someone that you respected, your surgeon.
That's a great question, Miranda. And I know that every patient who's dealing with this is feeling this. We all think about dying. We all worry about that. We all worry about the next scan results. And I thought about it every moment, every hour, every day. And then after 6 months or a year, it was maybe every other day. And then it was, a couple days a week. And now, honestly, 13 years later, I think about having a sore ankle and having a cortisone shot in my shoulder. I think about dying of something else, and I worry about all the other things that are going on in my life. So you will all get past that stage where you're thinking about it every day. And we have so many positive stories just within the foundation. Camille, KK's, Howard Young, many people who have successfully battled this for a long time that were stage 4. And they're living and breathing and thriving in life. So please, if you're battling this, be optimistic. Maintain your hope, because there are a lot of successful stories out there.
And what's it like being a part of the foundation family?
Yeah, it's truly been amazing, Miranda. This organization, I truly believe in it. I know the passion that Roger exhibits for this work, and the doctors that are involved and the nurses and Dr. Borzanski. There's wonderful things happening out there, and the fact that this foundation is doing that with its connections with Honor Health is just, I mean, it's humbling for me to be a part of it. And I'm just lucky to have stumbled into this organization and be a part of it. I'm proud of it.
Something that we're passionate about here at the foundation and that your life is living proof against is the conversation that surrounds the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Miranda. And again, we've all read the statistics. You have to recognize that these statistics are trailing statistics, right? A lot of these are from diagnoses that were made 10, 20, 30 years ago when treatments were more limited, there wasn't as early detection, there wasn't the advances in chemotherapy and radiation, there weren't the surgical procedures that exist now, or quite often they'll shrink the tumor and then do the Whipple surgery. So please don't get caught up in the 9% or some other statistics. Again, my chance of survival was 30%. My surgeon said, forget that, you're gonna live to be 80. So please, if that's something you stay with, that you're gonna live to be 80 and you're gonna die of something else. And if you're already 80 and you've been diagnosed, then insert 90. But don't believe that stuff, because as Rick mentioned in his podcast, I've heard too many stories of people that are diagnosed and they choose not to get treated. And of course, it's a personal choice. And I understand that everybody's in a different place in life. But for those who choose to be treated and choose to be treated, say, at Honor Health and the protocols that Dr. Von Hoff and Dr. Borzanski have, surely that survival rate is much higher than that. And I'm living proof that, I'm 13 years and I've been fine. And you have Camille and you have KKs and you got Howard Young and you got a lot of thriving survivors. So please feel hopeful. There's a lot of reason for optimism. And you can see it in the people that you shake hands with every year at these events. So there's living proof that many, many people are surviving and thriving with very positive and optimistic lives. I know that one of the things that I remember coining to myself as I was going through this was what I call the 4 F's: faith, family, friends, and fitness. And those were the only things that mattered to me when I was diagnosed. I mean, all the other things in life go by the wayside, right? It doesn't matter what car you drive or what house you live in or how much money's in your bank account. You think of your faith, and I'm a person of faith, and you think about your family and your friends and all of the people that are there for you when you need them. That's what matters most when you go through this. And of course, staying fit and healthy, because that allows you to fight this disease more going forward. So that's what resonated with me. Look, I've had 2 Whipple surgeries, so I'm a Whipple surgery veteran. So if you're needing to go through that, call me. I've survived just fine. I feel great. I work out every day. So it's not impacted my life adversely at all. So reach out if you want to help raise money. Reach out if you just want to talk about surviving. I'm happy to be an audience for either one of those topics.
Is there anything else you want to add? Anything I missed?
I'll probably think of something as soon as I get in the car to go home, Miranda, but right now I just want to follow up by just closing by saying I love the foundation. I really love what Roger's doing, and Liz and the doctors and the volunteers and what you do, Miranda. Thank you for being a part of this. You're making a difference in a lot of people's lives. And let's face it, a lot of this is not about us or even current patients, it's the future. It's that hopefully 5 or 10 years from now, this diagnosis won't mean nearly have the adverse impact that people believe today. And someday people will look back and say, that used to be a terminal disease, but it isn't anymore. That's my hope.
That's our hope as well, and we will get there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And to our audience, thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and like and share with someone that you think might be impacted. And we appreciate you. So keep tuning in to hear more incredible stories like Stan's.
Thank you, Miranda.